Hi, this is Heather. Thank you for stopping by my channel. This is my first process video voiceover, so please be patient. I am new to recording my process videos, and actually I haven't scrapbooked any pictures in quite some time, so this process took me a lot longer than it normally does, and because I knew that I was recording it, I think that might have made it a little bit worse. But I was working on cards for a good portion of last year, and then it took me quite some time to figure out how to start the whole social media setup thing. So I am doing it now. I started out with some pictures of my daughter from 2015, and I realized as I was going through them that I had so many of her eating ice cream, which is kind of funny. So I really wanted to just incorporate them all into one page, and I thought it was kind of cute. So I started out with white cardstock, as you saw, and I just knew there was something missing. So I went back and forth with some papers that I got from the Hit Kit Club, and I am not a member, but I do order their kits occasionally, and those papers were designed by Arit, and I love them. So I end up using a portion of one of them, and I go back to the white cardstock, and you saw that I used my color pencils or my watercolor pencils to draw hearts through a stencil, and then I sprayed them with water, and it distorted them actually a little bit more than I intended, but I think it was fitting with the paper that I used. So I like the way that it looks, and I used some shimmers, that is Genevieve Blue and Caribbean Sunset, and then the yellow was the Heidi Swap Butter. I think it just splattered with the Genevieve Blue, and now that it's all dry, that is that paper from Hit Kit Club, and all of my ice cream cones and popsicles, which I have so many of them. And I keep this sort of things together because it's helpful for me to have all of those like items in the same container. So I wanted to really use up a lot of them. Some of them I fussy cut from papers, and some of them are from Freckled Fawn Kit, and a couple of them are also from the Hit Kit Club. And I know some of them don't match exactly, but I really wanted to use them. And it was, to be honest, it took me quite some time to arrange them the way that I was happy. But there they are. And the flare that I am using is from a Freckled Fawn kit. In that cluster, I kind of felt like it was not standing out enough from the background. So I know it's really hard to tell from the video, but in person the vellum actually helps quite a bit. So I tore just a couple of small strips and stacked it behind, which I think makes a really big difference. And I also took some vellum strips and placed them behind on either side of the photos, because I knew that I wanted to add some more embellishments there, which that is coming up. And I end up using a title that I was really trying to avoid. I was really trying to come up with something that was a little bit more original, other than So Sweet for an ice cream page, but I just couldn't, not with what I had. So it still matches, and I like the way that it looks. That came from a sticker sheet that is crepe paper, I believe. I mean, I toyed around with all different types of die cuts and stickers that I had, and that's just what worked best. So there it is. I used some of the heart stickers that were on that same sheet to embellish, and for some reason that yellow sticker on that ice cream truck, I spent more time moving that one around, and I'm not quite sure why, but it matched the title, so I knew I was going to use it. I am just getting more hearts and placing them. And hearts don't really have anything to do with ice cream, except for one of those little popsicles that I fussy cut. It's orange and yellow, and it has a little tiny heart in it, so that is why I decided to add more. I know it really doesn't make sense, but it does to me. So that's where I went with it. There I am again with that yellow sticker. I am not sure why it gave me so much trouble. I do use it, it just doesn't end up there. Just placing more hearts, I think. There I am, and I apologize, you can't see that right side of the screen for some reason. Again, I'm a little new at this whole video editing process, so it could only get better, right? I hope. What am I doing now? More hearts. Oh, I'm looking through. I think there's a Bella Boulevard and some Freckle Fawn ones. I think I have them about as I wanted them. That sticker sheet is from a Hip Kit Club. That's exclusive, I believe. I took some hearts from there. I never realized how indecisive I could be when placing such small things on a page. You move them back and forth, and you don't really notice how much you do that until you're recording it and then watching it back. So I have a feeling, though, that I'm not the only one that has noticed that about themselves. And maybe people usually cut that part out, and maybe I will in the future. But I was trying to get it to a reasonable amount of time. I know that a lot of videos are between 10 and 15, so that was my goal. So now I think I'm making sure everything's glued down. That ice cream cone on the bottom right, I fussy cut that out of a Project Life card. I think that was from Simple Stories last year. And then that flare button, I'm pretty sure that I am about to fight with some thread. And I am not a thread person, but I feel like it's appropriate behind flare. I know Missy uses thread on every one of her layouts, and there's been a lot of people, I think, who have adapted that style, but it's not really for me, and she makes it look so effortless, doesn't she? Let's see, so I think, I'm putting foam on the back of that flare because the back fell off before I started this for some reason. It's usually flat, and this one wasn't, and I couldn't get it back on, so had to put some foam beneath it so it would stay. And then I finally put my title down, and I'm going to get some sequins out, which the past few months I have really gotten into using those on about everything. I wasn't really much of a sequin person. I had tons of enamel dots and pearls and gems, and I started seeing, like Jennifer McGuire, she started using sequins on her cards, and I know obviously this isn't a card, but I love the way that it looked, and I used that little glass, I'm not sure what it would be, little glass dish. It's really tiny, and I've had it for a very long time. It is very useful when you're trying to pour small things like sequins out. Using now I'm using the gold color shine. I guess I realized I wanted to put that down before the sequins. So the sequins I found on Etsy, and I love them because they're kind of frosted, but they're all different sizes. I think like 3mm to 8, and I like the range. I squirted some Ranger Multimedia matte down on my work surface, and I'm using my tweezers just to dip it in that and place it on my page. You can see in that bottom right how much of a difference in size those are. I think the on Etsy it was Dancing Quinn. I'm pretty sure that's who I got this pack from, and I'm not sure how I stumbled upon it, but I love them. Now you're seeing the still shots. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe, and more will come soon.